is Daniela. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada, and moved to Hong Kong in 2018. I came here on the offer to be a Montessori kindergarten teacher, and that is what I'm doing full time, and I love it very much. I chose kindergarten because I really, really, really like spending time with young children. They have a lot to offer in terms of communication and honesty and a fresh perspective. While in Hong Kong, I picked up, well, I wouldn't say picked up, but I stepped forward in my writing journey. So I've been writing as long as I can remember, but it was in Hong Kong at the Africa Center where I had the opportunity to kind of put my work into the hands of the public. So now, I guess 4 years later, I am a self-published author of a children's book called When the Rain Stopped. And I also run a podcast called Africa's Lit. So Africa's Lit started, again, because of the Africa Center Hong Kong. I wanted to share my love of books, and Africa Center Hong Kong had a book club, which I joined. And in the desire to share my love of books, I decided to put forward a radio station show, and that was with the encouragement of my husband, who had one going as well. And not really sure what to do, I decided to incorporate music into the show. So the show follows the books that the book club reads, and I then find music to match the themes or the setting of the story. So in a nutshell, that's me. I have very fond memories reading as a kid. I read tons of chapter books. So I do remember writing as well, but when I was younger, it was a lot of poetry and no aim in writing, but just the joy of writing. And then I started writing stories maybe, I don't know, a good number of years ago. What I was doing was writing stories for my nieces and nephews and children that I knew, and I was incorporating their names in the stories and them as the characters. And so, I guess at some point I decided to kind of break out of my shell, which I'm still doing, and just kind of move ahead with story writing. I believe strongly that reading connects all of us. So we can identify with characters and stories who someone else might identify with, and that connects me and another reader. Writing children's books, I hope that children enjoy it. And so I love seeing happy children and peaceful children. So that would be, I guess, the push for children's books and the importance of books for children. I think it helps develop the imagination, creativity. Books offer a chance for children to learn about certain themes or topics that might be difficult to explain. So that is another reason why books are great for children and for adults. It's the same as an adult book reader myself. I learn history, I learn new words, and again, I connect with people who read the same books and learn about the layers in writing as well, which I always find fascinating when other people find certain themes stand out in writing. It just broadens my mind. So for those reasons, I love books. I try and think of a character, often a character of color and often a female character. Those are usually my protagonists. But the story just takes on a life of its own. And I usually find myself giggling at certain points, thinking that whatever idea I have is really crazy, and that no one would ever publish this but the best publisher because it's so funny. But the story just takes on a life of its own. It's usually a one-time go, and then I'll revisit. But lately, because of the training and the new information I've got on writing and how to write, I'm trying to clean it up in terms of spreads, for example, and different writing techniques. So the podcast is called Africa's Lit, and it started in 2019. My husband Robin had a show happening at Eaton Radio. They have a studio, and he had his own show. And I was a little jealous, and I wanted my own as well. But I didn't have any particular skills. So I then thought about something I really love, which was books. So I came up with the concept of introducing music. I've now kind of tailored it to speak from a place that relates to the book. So I do my hardest to find music that matches the setting. Um, and so I'm on my 5th year and I love it. I love it. I don't know how many listeners I have, but it's pure joy to share my love of books. I try to just keep it to the facts and try and just inform and educate people. It's not so much a book review. And the plan is to just keep going. It's just to keep going with it because I love it so much and just promoting it. And I'll see where it leads. But for now, it's just a labor of love. I think in Hong Kong, as an author of color, I think it's important for children to see, and also to see children of color in stories that have regular stories like everyone else, and not particularly stories that relate to their skin color. So I do want to continue writing and moving ahead with more books. And then with the show, as I mentioned, I'm just going to keep moving forward. So this is a challenging question because it all comes down to perspective. And I find each person has their own perspective. I am part of a network of Black women, and we chat often on where to find things for hair or makeup or medical services, and just wanting. So I will say that Hong Kong, in terms of including Black women, at the moment more work can be done. In terms of treatment, I find the treatment that I've received where I live has been very positive. I have heard that of negative stories of people in the public, Black women in public being mistreated or disrespected. So, and I will attribute that to the color of their skin. I do think that Hong Kong has more work to do. But for now, I'm happy with the network that I have, a wonderful community of women that I can talk to about any issue that's bothering me. And so I guess for anyone who feels perhaps left out, there is a community I find for everyone here in Hong Kong. So it's just kind of reaching out and trying to find that community. I find Hong Kong to be very efficient. And that's one thing I do like, from transit to conversations. At first, the efficiency of conversations threw me off. So in Toronto, if you go to a restaurant and you sit down, it's hi, how are you? Or what would you like? Here it's what do you want? So, and that's fine. That's just, it took some figuring out, and it took me, learning to understand Hong Kong's culture. I do appreciate that efficiency here. I have a really good circle of friends that are local Hong Kongers, and with them, I guess it's with anyone, there's just an understanding of and support for growth. So with Hong Kong in general, yes, I love how it is a land of opportunity and supports growth from, as I mentioned, a few Black women business owners, Africa Centers running a wonderful program and business, Rebranding Blackness. And I don't think, even for me to have a podcast and self-publish a book, I don't know how possible that would have been or how long it would have taken if I were still in Toronto. So Hong Kong, I'd say it's the many opportunities available and the ease at which to pursue them, and also the efficiency. The advice that I've learned is to just keep writing. Writing is something that should be done regularly and practiced regularly. Find a group of people that will be supportive in feedback, that would be another piece of advice. And to read, also to read a lot. I think those would be my tips for pursuing a career or following a journey into writing. Thank you very much. Thank you.